Man, y'all do not have to be a used car dealer to get a value out of a lot of what I talk about on my YouTube channel. Today's video is about sourcing inventory. And no, it doesn't mean going to the dealer auction and buying cars there. You can, and you can get some deals. But I've got a couple other sources where I get a lot of my cars from that you might not have thought of. So take a look at this video. Hope it brings something to you that you can use. And I'd appreciate a like, a subscribe, a share, a comment, whatever you can do for me. Thanks for watching. Let's get into it. So about the auction. What I have noticed, like I said, the cars that were more expensive, the MMR is coming in line. But the cheap cars, the cars that used to sell for $800, $1,200, $1,500, even sometimes $2,000, they are way over market value. I watched a Toyota Corolla, I think it was an 11. It went for double MMR. I watched an 11 Ford Edge go for double MMR. Now that one was super clean, I'll give them that, but I don't know that double MMR is a good value. I watched a Chevrolet HHR, which had a book of like $1,100. It sold at $15,000, and honestly, I probably should have bought that one. It seemed like a solid little car. You know, they're kind of a throwaway car, but again, they're cheap cars. So I say, oh, I should have bought it. It went for $15,000. Well, you don't know how high the guy that was going to be bidding against me would have gone. It might have gone to $2 or $25,000, and it certainly is not worth that. It's funny that these older cars go for more money today than they did before COVID. You know, you used to buy PT Cruisers for $800. Now there's people buying them for $1,600, $1,800, $2,000 at auctions. So what I have seen from my own experience, and maybe your area is different, I am inside the DFW market, is that the cheaper the car, the higher the percentage over MMR it is. Now, in some cases, that doesn't matter, right? I mean, if the car's got a book value of $800 and it sells for $16,000, but it's a good, solid car, you can get $3,000 for a running, driving car with air conditioner these days. That's not a problem. But I refuse to massively overpay. So, where are the smart dealers going to find used cars? I've had similar videos about this before, and for whatever reason, they didn't get a whole lot of views. So we'll see if I can't run through this now and make some better choices, and maybe you can find some better bargains. All right, I see my hook got you and you're still here watching the video. First, I appreciate you tuning in. Second, a like and a subscribe would do me some wonders. Third, comments help the algorithm. That can be, hey man, you're a dumbass, you don't know a thing. That can be, great job. That can be, hey you fat bald bastard, the sun or the light is shining on your bald head and I can't see nothing for the glare. So that's step one. I appreciate any and all correspondence. Second, you've tuned into the video because I've told you, and maybe you're new to car auctions, maybe you're a new dealer, and you are in shock that I would say that the dealer auction is not a great place to get bargains. So let me quantify that statement. This is what I've seen with the dealer auctions over the last couple of weeks and months, and I think it's going to get worse. The MMR, or Manheim Market Research numbers, the cars seem to all sell at or below slightly that when they are newer cars. That's because all these people that had these market adjustments have given their cars back. All these people that bought cars during COVID are starting to give cars back. And so there are a ton of repos. The banks can't keep up with the repos. And so the value of, say, 1, 2, 3-year-old cars are coming down. And that MMR number adjusts, I want to say, every 30 days. So it's a guide, but it's not a Bible. So the newer cars, those prices are starting to come in line finally at or below MMR. The cars that I'm specifically talking about are the cars that most buy here, pay here dealerships sell. At my dealership, I sell cars generally between $4,000 and $6,000. Why I like that number is that I can do buy here, pay here on those. And you know, back in the day, I used to be able to get my whole down payment. The down payment would cover my whole investment in the car. It's not quite like that right now because these cheaper cars are more expensive, and I'll get to that in a minute. But $4,000 to $6,000 cars, and the reason for that is there are way more people that have $4,000 to $6,000, $5,000 on average. We'll just call it $5,000, that have $5,000 available for a cash car than there are people that have $10,000 available for a cash car. I will tell you that on average, I make $1,000 to $1,500 per transaction selling a $5,000 car. So if I have only so much capital and I do not floor plan, everything I own is mine, I can have twice the number of $5,000 cars as I can $10,000 cars. Now, I don't sell a ton of cars. I also own an automotive repair shop, and that takes quite a bit of my time too. So I generally only have 4 to 6 cars available at a time. But I don't have a ton of money tied up in inventory sitting outside. And again, when I post a car for sale, it is gone like that, usually under a week, because there are so many people looking for good, affordable $5,000 cars. So one of the ways I source my cars is customers bring a car into a shop, which I own a shop, and they get an estimate for repair, and holy cow, I can't believe it's that much money. I'm just going to sell it. I can't fix that. My first question, okay, I understand that completely. What do you want for it? Because owning a shop, or if you own a car dealership and you have a mechanic, you can get some bargains that way. Now, I recommend, or I recognize that not everybody owns a shop. So my advice to you is get out your Google and Google auto repair shops, transmission shops near you, and you call them up. Hi, Mr. Business Owner. I'm Fred with ABC Used Cars. I'm just curious if you have any cars there that have not been picked up or that customers don't want to repair that you might be willing to forward my information to, or give me their information so that I could contact them and see if they'd like to buy the car. I know you want it off your lot. Maybe the customer hasn't paid their bill, maybe they have, or maybe they haven't, they're not going to do the work and the car is sitting there taking up a space. That could be a car I'd be willing to buy, and I'd also be willing to give you $100 for any car that you source for me, because I need some inventory and you probably need the cars off your lot. So that's the first way I would start. You don't want to just say, hey, I want you to help me out. What you're saying is we can help each other out. I know you might have cars there that are taking up space or that you haven't been paid on. Also, they might be willing to do that just to move the car. And what's $100, right? You'll get to do a more thorough inspection than you would at the auction. And yeah, you're going to deal directly with a customer. You're going to get the title in your hand, and you're going to be able to fix that car and sell it. Another great place to go to source vehicles is Junkyards. Call around to a couple of junkyards around you and say, hey, I'm curious, did y'all get anything in you're going to sell whole? Maybe something that needs a transmission or needs a motor that you might be willing to wholesale to me all in one piece. Now, these guys, obviously, they make more money parting cars out. We all know that. But there are plenty of junkyards around me that the car might sit for a month all in one piece before they get to it. Or they know that the car is a good car, it just needs a transmission, so they're going to pull a transmission out of another car, put it in this one, and sell the car whole. A lot of these junkyards actually have a dealer license, so call around. You may be able to wholesale some cars that need some work and have your guy at your shop fix it, and you'll get a good deal. Now, is this going to be a giveaway deal for no money? No. Is it going to be as good or better than the dealer auction? In many cases, it will be. And what does it take you? You have some downtime, you have Google, start dialing. And if you really are ambitious, take an afternoon and drive to 5 or 6 of them, leave a business card, talk to some people. I hate cold calling. I used to be a sales guy. I feel like it's kind of a waste. It's a needle in a haystack. You go, you stop, you talk, you drop a card, nobody gives a shit, the card goes in the trash. But it takes one, and it becomes worth it. The best example I have of that is the guy that owns the inspection station near me here in Fate, Texas. I met him because he came around and said, do y'all do state inspections? No, I don't. Well, here's my card. I do state inspections. It's in and out in 10 minutes or less. I can take care of your customers' cars if you bring their insurance when you're done the repair. I can do your car lot cars, whatever you want. I now exclusively use that guy and recommend him to anybody that will listen. He's a great guy, he's a small business owner, and it is all because he drove in my lot, knocked on my door, handed me a card, and told me what he was doing. So consider doing that to source cars as well. Now, I know I haven't given you any rocket science information, but here's another way that I source cars. On the back of my business card, it says, we buy cars. It says we buy cars that need work. We buy cars without titles. So if I'm driving down the street, the road, the highway, and I see a car that looks good on the side of the road, I know it's broke down. So if it's safe, I'm going to get off. I'm going to stick my business card under their windshield wiper. Now you might think this is a long shot, but you would not believe the number of cars I have bought on the side of the road. Basically just telling the person, sure, I'll meet you there at X time, have your title, and I'll get it towed away. So don't discount taking that minute to stop and put a card underneath a car that looks like it might be for sale. Likewise, if you pass a car in your neighborhood that's always sitting in the same spot that's on 4 flat tires, don't be afraid to knock on that person's door and go, hey, I buy cars. Is that going to be a car that you're going to be fixing up, or are you going to be selling that car? Because you can get a bargain that way as well. Okay, here's another great way to source vehicles, and that is to be a consumer. When you're sitting at your car lot tinkering on your computer, instead of watching videos like me on YouTube or watching, cats ride around on a Roomba, get on Craigslist and Facebook 2 to 3 times a day with a saved search. The saved search is this: for sale by owner and the price that you want to pay, and then check that every single day, 2 or 3 times a day. I also do searches because I own a shop for needs engine, needs transmission, bad motor, bad transmission, because there are a lot less people looking for a car that is broke down and doesn't run than there are looking for a car that they can get into and drive. So I do that religiously every day. And you know what? Sometimes you find some bargains. Again, needle in a haystack type thing. You're not going to just find a plethora of cars. But when you look at auction prices and you compare to what individuals are asking, sometimes it's not that bad. So if you find that person that's maybe just a little bit out of touch with what the car might be worth, or maybe the car is filthy inside and people can't look past it, or maybe it does have a bad transmission and you can get one from a junkyard and have your guy put it in. Bargains are there every day. Okay, here's my number one way to source cars. I bet you that a third to maybe even 40% of my cars come from doing this trick. It's not a trick. I've advertised it before on my channel. For whatever reason, that video hasn't taken off. Maybe I just need to redo that video. I've had a short about it. And, it's funny, back in the 90s, there was this knucklehead on TV called Don Lapre. And Don Lapre sold an infomercial, which was that placing tiny classified ads can make you rich. Don was on to something. So the number one way I source vehicles is I put ads on Craigslist, and they are in the wanted section, and they say, I buy cars. I buy cars with bad transmissions. I buy cars needing a lot of work. Some of them say, I buy Hondas, I buy Toyotas, I buy cars with no titles. All different kinds of injured cars, cars that your average retail customer wouldn't want. Now, why does this work? This works because if people go to the mental trouble of washing their car, cleaning out their car, putting a for sale sign on their car, placing an ad for their car, they have already gotten into the mindset that they're going to sell the car. They already have a price in their head. However, if they see an ad while they're perusing Craigslist that says, I buy Toyotas up to $1,500, and they have a Toyota sitting beside their house that needs an air conditioner replaced, they might go, oh, I'm never going to fix that. I can get $1,500 for my Toyota. And they're going to contact you. Now, sometimes I put a price, sometimes I don't put a price. If you put a price, you're letting the people know you're not paying retail. If you put a price, everybody wants what that price was that you put. Even if you say, I pay up to $5,000, the guy with the 2001 Camry wants $5,000. So that's something to be cognizant of. So what I generally tell people once they contact me is, hey, I just want you to know I am a used car dealer. This is the way I buy about half of my used cars. I don't really care for car dealers. I don't really care for the car auction, but I like to come out and look at yours and make you an offer. I have them send me the VIN so I can verify the VIN. I have them send me pictures. And we have a ballpark of what the car will sell for before I drive out to look at it. And then I will also say that there are a lot of crack smokers that want crazy numbers. So you're going to be sifting through some emails. But when you find one, you are going to find one at a great value. Another thing that I do, if you heard when I was listing what some of my ads were, is I buy no title cars. So obviously I have to check the cars to make sure that they're not stolen. There is very few people that buy no title cars, so I do. And the way I price them is I take MMR and I cut it in half. And that's what I'm willing to pay. And people in general understand they don't have a title. They can't just sell that car. They've maybe called a couple wrecking yards. They've found out that the wrecking yards won't take it. Some will, some won't. And that the title can be an issue. Now, you can't get a title to every car, so you're going to need to run the VIN and see if there is a lien on the car that is less than 10 years old. If there is a lien that's less than 10 years old, you're going to need to contact the lien holder and see if they still have an interest in the vehicle. And then if they do not have an interest in the vehicle, go ahead and buy that car. There is a process to get a bonded title to sell that car. That is my number one way I source cars. Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups where you can advertise your business. Sometimes I have to be a little more incognito, and I'll just post an ad that says, hey, I'm looking for a 2005 to 2015-ish car that maybe needs some work, and I can also deal with a lost title. If you have one, let me know. And again, it's a numbers game. You get a lot of them that are not contenders, but when you get one, you will get a good one. And the margins from these cars that I've posted ads for and people have found me, the margins are substantially better than car auction margins. I will tell you that. So consider doing that too. So that's just some tips for a guy that maybe has just recently started out as a used car dealer. Most of these things will apply no matter what state you're in. The bonded title process, if you're going to go that route, will be different from state to state, and some states don't do it at all. And it does take some time, so you need to think of that. But don't just think going to the dealer auction is the way to go. The deals are generally not that great. Don't buy something just because you need to buy something. Don't buy something from another independent dealer because he's just there dumping his garbage. Buy something from the Chevy dealer, the Ford dealer, whatever franchise dealer, because you know they're not going to have a 10-year-old car sitting on their lot. You know why they're selling it. Don't be afraid to buy repos. The banks generally don't do if calls. Generally, the bank takes what they can get. But keep in mind, if they couldn't afford their payment, they didn't do their upkeep either, so there's going to be some things to take care of. So if you're looking to source cars, you're selling those cars in the, say, $4,000 to $6,000 or $5,000 range like I do, those are sources to consider, okay? Junkyards, cars on the side of the road, consignment sales, placing ads to find the cars, all of those are good resources to use. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I hope you'll give me a like and a subscribe. Maybe leave me a comment down below. That would all be great. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll have another great video out for you soon. Thank you much. Okay, so there's just a few ideas you can use to source some inventory, be it for your buy here, pay here car lot, your lower end priced car lot, or even if you're buying and selling cars out of your driveway. I hope you're paying your tax on them, but I'm not going to come hunt you down. You don't need a dealer license to do a lot of these. Obviously, you do at the dealer auction. But all these other tricks that I showed you, they were things that I did before I was ever a car dealer. So take that as what it is. And if you get some value out of it, I certainly appreciate you watching, liking, subscribing, telling me I'm wonderful, sharing with your friends, whatever it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Y'all have yourselves a great day.